Oh, here we go. Oh, oh my God, Ed, look at you. Wow, you're Hemingway.
Hemingway. I'm going to talk fast because I know you're the thing. First, let me say I had 17 plays on my calendar, all erased for this. Sadly, I didn't see any of them. So anything I'll be saying is a truncated version of both the season and my theatrical experience. The first question you asked was, what was my favorite production or performance on Broadway or off-Broadway or off-Broadway this season? First, let me say that most of the best and very favorite theatrical experience came from off-Broadway. And there's no surprise there, as their selection committees are a lot more daring in their play choices, as tourists are not the tail that wags their dogs. Some of the very top theaters that rarely disappoint, and I cannot mention them all, are the Irish Rep, the Atlantic Theater, New York Theater Workshop, Signature, Vineyard, and the Public Theater, and apologies to those venues who I did not mention. This season was a slew of wonderful Black and Afro-American oriented plays, all off-Broadway, many of them garnering well-deserved nominations and awards from all kinds of theatrical award agencies. Here are a few that come to mind. Gurgis's Halfway Bitches Go to Heaven, which takes place in a women's shelter, Michael Jackson's A Strange Loop, Gattori Hall's The Hot Wing King, Lynn Nottage's and Duncan Sheik's The Secret Life of Bees, and the revivals for colored girls who considered suicide When the Rainbow's Enough, and a soldier's play at the Public Theater. As far as my two favorite Broadway plays, Harold Pinter's Betrayal, written and played chronologically backwards like Benjamin Button. The relationships overall, allegedly based on Pinter's own marriage, rang true. It also pointed out how our beginnings never know our endings. You know, best laid plans go astray. The second, In the Height of the Storm, was up there with my favorites, the Broadway play. Of course, the acting, Jonathan Pryce, who had Alzheimer's, and his wife, Eileen Atkins, was superb. Having a lot of experiences myself, past and present, with people who have Alzheimer's, the playwright and Pryce were spot on in their interpretations. I must add, a lot of my theater reviewing friends did not know, both during and after the play ended, in this play, who was dead, who was alive, what was real, what was imagined, and did his wife poison her husband, a mushroom hunter himself, with a bowl of mushroom soup. But then again, I have found in my experience that many theater critics, with their set-in-stone preconceivings, are the least knowing and least generous of all audiences. For me, this boggling of the mind in the height of the storm added to the power of the play, and of course, my joy.
We agree
Both of
to
these
disagree.
plays, huh?
We agree to disagree. I'm one of those.
Both of these plays can be related to one doing a crossword puzzle. Of course, it would take an essay to explain this. I must give a shout out to The Vineyard, Is This a Room?, conceived and directed by Tina Satter. It's based on an actual recording of the FBI sting. It was frightening and harrowing, one that unnerved the entire audience, myself, of course. Emily Davis, who played Reality Winner, what a name, right? Turned in the most powerful and nuanced performance of this season. She was wonderful, the best performance of this season. You ask what was my all-time wonderful or profound theater experience and why. Again, it's hard to narrow down to one play. Let me talk about it this way. So I have to go back to my past and call up my memory. Long Day, Journey into Night, and Waiting for Godot are my two favorite plays. As far as Godot and the inevitability of life's waiting, it is one line from the play, a truism, if you will, that burned itself into my brain. I forgot who said it, whether it was Lucky or Pazzo, but the line reads, all of a sudden, one day, which is exactly how things happen in life. Jumping to the end, I could go on and on. All of a sudden, one day, we are no longer here. The first Broadway play that I ever saw, and this was pre-teen, was the original production of O'Neill's Long Day's Journey into Night. It starred Frederick March, his wife Florence Eldridge, Bradford Dillman, I believe, and Catherine Ross and Jason Robards Jr. The year was the late 50s. My aunt brought me to see this play, And given that I was about 10, maybe, the manager went crazy and didn't want to let me in, but my aunt was very persuasive. And she was just as persuasive when she brought me to see Williams' Cat on a Hot Tin Roof the same year. Although I cannot even imagine my understanding Long Days at the time, or maybe I did, suffice to say it did burn a hole in my brain. I compare this effect to the phenomena of imprinting, which is psychobiology. It's a form of learning in which very young animal fixes its attention on the first object with which it has visual, auditory, or tactile experience, and thereafter follows the object. In this case, this object that burned itself with my brain was Long Day's Journey. Till this very day, I can see a play and I use it as a touchstone for greatness. I can even walk out of a musical and say, well, it's no Long Day's Journey in tonight. About suggestions to make off-Broadway and regional theaters, I'm not even going to weigh in on that, although it's the most interesting thing, the Zooming, and I could sit home and don't have to go to theater. I have a front row center seat. What is your favorite streamed or Zoom performance during the pandemic? My two favorite Zoom performances came from the National Theatre of London. In fact, other than the Met Opera Gala, which took us around the world into the quarantine home of every major opera star, and the Irish Reps Molly Sweeney, and thanks to the Gingold Theatrical Group, Shaw's Candida, every play from the National Gallery is a winner. I was thrilled at the production of Weber's Phantom. It really is an opera. And the Old Vics national production of Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire, the acting, the direction, the set, oh my God, was that wonderful. And that's everything that I wrote. So if you have any questions, I feel very bad because the Irish Rep had Incantata, wonderful one-man show about mourning for the loss of his girlfriend. London's Insurance,
London Assurance, the Boucher
London Assurance. I loved it, the play. There were a lot of wonderful things that I loved. There was nothing on Broadway other than what I mentioned that really stood out and captured my attention. So all of this stuff that I wrote and thought about this morning, thanks for putting me back into my theater season, was what stuck. I may even turn this into a longer piece because there are things I wanted to talk about the different plays.
Well, let me ask you the question that I've asked a couple of the other critics this morning is, I mean, you've been out there, you've gone, or you were going to have a picnic the other day with some friends of yours, a distance picnic, and it was just the weather that kept you from doing it. What will get you back into a theater seat? Would you go in a week? Would you go in a month? Will you wait till next year, even if it starts before then? When are you ready? I
really do not have any idea. It depends how the theaters are going to handle this. It depends what is open and what is not. Right now, as you see, I grew a mustache and beard, and my hair's pretty longest in the back because everything is closed. I will be doing this picnic on Sunday, celebrating my birthday. There'll be 5 of us. We'll all be wearing masks. We'll all be drinking.
We lost.
Someone called.
We lost your audio there for a moment. There we go.
Decline them. I go out to shop twice a week, or run to the bank, or go to the post office. It's scary. It's scary. I have not taken any of the tests. I'm going to take them Tuesday. Both see if I had it, which I think I did 2.5 months ago. I had a mild case of corona. I'm not sure, and if I have any antibodies, whatever that means.
Yeah, no, I actually have a case of corona in the fridge, and I'm gonna pop it open. You know, I might be 80th person to make that joke, but ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Ed Rubin. I do want to remind you folks that you can read When the Theater's Going, or his back stuff in Artes, which is a theater website, ARTES, and of course in TotalTheater.com, where we have a bunch of his reviews and his feature stories as well. So, Don't forget to tell them I'm a member of Drama Desk, Outer Critics Circle, and the American Theater Critics Association. Well, he's a member of the Drama Desk, the Outer Critics Circle, and the American Theater Critics Association.
Right.
Ed Rubin,
Can I apologize, David, for reading? I hate when people read, but I was so nervous about this, and as we spoke earlier, I didn't even want to participate because my mind is so disheveled.
No,
but I
you were
managed
fabulous.
to.
Yeah, I mean, you would have been fabulous even if you were impromptu off the cuff, but
Right.
you read in an impassioned way so that it wasn't just like, oh God, he's reading. You know, it's fabulous.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I saw your nose grow 2 inches.
And my wife wants to know, do you still wear the Converse? Are you wearing Converse sneakers? I don't remember that. You still?
I do occasionally.
Well, I'm very happy to converse with you on this
Right.
episode of Dave's Gone By, our special Tony show.
Love to you and Joyce.
Love to you back. And you know, I only hope that you had COVID 2.5 months ago, so that, you know, hope, I don't know if that.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, but stay healthy, stay well, stay great. Ed Rubin.
Ditto. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.